What's up, y'all? Good morning, everyone. This is your man, RJK, the Sports Guy, and I am back here with another video. Just want to give a quick little shout out to everyone out there. Hope everyone's having a good day, and a shout out to all my NBA fans, because tonight starts Game 1 of the 2025 NBA Conference Finals. So, for the Conference Finals in both the Eastern and the Western Conference, for the Eastern Conference, we got the Indiana Pacers versus the New York Knicks. And in the Western Conference, we got the OKC, Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's going to be a great conference finals, man. You got four young teams, man. You got teams that have young star to superstar caliber players. And a thing that I really like about the NBA is there's a lot of parity in the league where it gives you a chance that, you know, not the big teams like the Lakers, the Warriors, and the Celtics have to win the title every year. You got these young teams who are fighting to win their first championship in their careers. So we're going to break down the both conference finals. First, we're going to start with Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. That is tonight is the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, this one is definitely going to be a very interesting and electric conference finals between the Thunder and the Timberwolves. So you got two teams, like I said, that have young players who are going to lead the league in the next 3 to 5 years. You got the Timberwolves that's got Georgia's own, Atlanta's own Anthony Edwards. And then you got the Oklahoma City Thunder that has the potential MVP this year with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So if you saw what Shai did against the Denver Nuggets in the previous semifinals, you saw this man, besides one game in the whole 7-game series, he averaged over 25 points the entire series, and multiple games that he scored over 30 points. And in the deciding Game 7, he put up 35 points and outright defeat the Denver Nuggets in the semifinals. Now that's impressive. What about Anthony Edwards? This man, he beat the Lakers with Luka Doncic and LeBron James in 5 when everyone kept saying Lakers in 5, Lakers in 5, Lakers in 5. He beat them in 5 games. And then not only he beat the Warriors in the semifinals in 5 games. Now everyone's going to say the excuse, oh, but Steph Curry was hurt. Yes, I get Stephen Curry was hurt, but you still had Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Gary Payton II, and you still have Jonathan Kuminga on that team. So you had other players that could have picked up the slack of Steph Curry being hurt, so you can't say that excuse. And in sports, the catchphrase, next man up, that holds part. So you can't say the Warriors lost just because Steph Curry was injured. You can't make up that excuse. So in my opinion, I think this series between the Thunder and the Timberwolves is going to go to 7 games because they both have good teams. The Timberwolves, you got Anthony Edwards, like I said. You got Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo. You got Rudy Gobert. You got the reigning 6th man of the year from last year, Naz Reid. And then you also have Jaden McDaniels on that team, which is a very good team on its own. But then you get to the Oklahoma City Thunder. You have the potential MVP of this year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And then you also got other guys like Chet Holmgren, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, both Jalen Williams. Then you added guys who bolstered the defense for that team in Isaiah Hartenstein and Alex Caruso, who brings that veteranship from winning the 2020 title with the Los Angeles Lakers that year with LeBron James. So he brings that veteranship to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So like I said, this series has the potential to go to 7 games. In my opinion, I'm going for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I want Atlanta's own Anthony Edwards to win his first title. And fun fact, if the Timberwolves make it to the finals, this will be their first time making the NBA Finals in franchise history. So there's going to be a lot of firsts going into this conference finals to begin with. Now, with the Western Conference, now we're going to move on to the Eastern Conference with the New York Knicks and against the Indiana Pacers. Now, for all of my fans who were around in the 90s, this this series is a rivalry that goes back. So for all my fans that watched the NBA in the 90s, you remember the clashes with the Knicks and the Pacers. Patrick Ewing versus Reggie Miller. And now you got Tyrese Halliburton versus Jalen Brunson. Now, don't forget, last year, these guys met in the semifinals, and the Pacers won to make it to the conference finals. And it was their first time in the conference finals since 2014. Now, for the Knicks, making the conference finals this year, this will be their first time in the conference finals since the year of 2000. And who did they lose to in the conference finals in 2000s? Yes, the Indiana Pacers. So this rivalry has a lot of merit going back to the 1990s and some of the early 2000s as well. So, like I said, you got Tyrese Halliburton, who some NBA players and even some fans said is the most overrated player in the league. Okay, so last year they made the conference finals. Everyone thought it was luck. Well, guess what? Just this year alone, he beat the number 1 seed, the Cleveland Cavaliers, in the semifinals in 5 games. So, is he still overrated? Is Tyrese Halliburton still overrated? I really want to know that. So, he clearly proved he's not overrated. So, he's back in the conference finals once again against a Knicks team who has a lot of momentum because they beat the reigning champ Boston Celtics in the second round in 6 games. And game 6, they absolutely blew out the Boston Celtics. I mean, it wasn't even a game to begin with. So they have a lot of momentum beating the reigning champs. And then, like I said, with the Pacers, you got guys like Miles Turner, Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam on the Pacers, who are very good contributors. And then you got the Knicks. You got Jalen Brunson. You got OG Anunoby. You got Mitchell Robinson. You got Karl-Anthony Towns, who they got in the trade last year from Minnesota, this year with Minnesota. And then you also got Mikal Bridges. 2 teams who are very, very dynamic on opposite sides. So, who I think is going to win in this series? It's going to be a tough matchup. Like I said, this is an old rivalry. Can this series go to 7 games as well? In my opinion, I think it can. And in this series, I have the Indiana Pacers winning this series. And if the Indiana Pacers win, this will be their first time going to the NBA Finals since, just like I said, the year Y2K 2000. So in my prediction for the NBA Finals, I got the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Indiana Pacers. Both teams are going to be looking for their first title in franchise history in the NBA. So, what do you guys think? Who do y'all think is going to win in the Western and Eastern Conference? And what is your NBA Finals predictions? This is your man, RJK the Sports God, signing off. Deuces.